JimmE with the Triple C Collective here for another episode of Commentary Track, Acolyte, Season 1, Episode 4, Day. So the first 3 episodes have been really good. I kind of want to know, I still have some questions about what happened on Brendock, if I'm being honest. What we saw in that prequel, full-on like Indara episode and everything like that with May and Osha and Brendock. Because like the bodies weren't burnt, and like that, what? Like how did they die then? Like what killed them there? So I'm confused. I have questions about that. I hope we get to find that out at some point. Other than that, then we're about to dive into episode 4. So here at the beginning of episode 4, we meet Kelnaka. We're on Kofar. Kelnaka is hanging out at his house. And like we just see his home. Inside there are drawings that look like the ones that are on like May's face and that were on Mother Anissa's forehead. And it seems like he is, more or less making something. We get a cut back then to Coruscant. We get some younglings training. Osha is observing. Jackie is one of those younglings, training in class. And the class is over. Jackie and like Osha kind of meet up with each other and like are talking. And Osha's like, I came to say goodbye. I've come to what I needed to do. So like now I need to go. Thank you. And Jackie's like, for what? She's like, helping me see my sister, clear my name. And Jackie's just like, I'm just doing my duty. She's like, I did figure you would stay until we caught her. Must be curious after all this time, And Osha very sternly is like, May is the Jedi's problem now. And I'm not a Jedi. And then like Osha kind of picks up like on like this, like there's this like cute little flirtiness that's happening here between Osha and Jackie. And she's like, don't tell me you'll miss me. And they're both laughing and whatnot. And Jackie's just like, you care about May, she's like, I mourn the years lost, but May must be found before she does any more harm to anyone else, but not me. I can't do it. She's like, but Osha is like, next time I'm in Coruscant though, we'll go to a cantina, swap stories about Master Saul. And she's like, say goodbye to him for me, to him. And Jackie's like, you're not going to say goodbye to him yourself? And she's like, no, I've caused him enough trouble. We get a cut back to Kofar. Say, Kamir and May, land on their ship, or like their ship lands. And, they're like, we're just gonna wander. Most of this is uncharted. Most bounty hunters won't even go in. And, I'm just wondering, Mr. Kamir here, are you the stranger? You might be. Because this is weird. How would you know all of this stuff if you were just simply like a supplier for her? Like, how'd you get to Kofar? How'd you find all this stuff out anyhow? Like, I don't trust you anymore. You're up there now. And, so, he's like, you just don't go in there and just like find the Wookiee. And he's like, it was hard, but like, that's one Jedi that doesn't want to be found. And May's like, you went in there and risked everything for my master? He's like, no, risked my life to help you. Admit it, you need me. Uh, and he's like, you know, sister being alive doesn't change anything. You made a deal. And then they like move into the forest. Then we get a title sequence. Very interesting. The it doesn't matter that your sister's alive anymore. Like you made a deal kind of thing that was like gauntlet kind of being thrown down here. So that was interesting. Noted. Come here. You might be the stranger, my guy. Then we get the title sequence, and after the title sequence, we get we're back at a Coruscant, and we are at a Jedi Council meeting. The Jedi are talking about May, you know, and like what they're seeing from. It's not really even a council meeting, if I'm being honest. We're looking at footage of it, and you know, she's fast and weak. Emotions are guiding her every move. Yet there is some skill. You know, people they're like credit where credit's due. There is some skill there, and they're basically like someone's trained her. Who? So I was like, you know, she says that she doesn't know. Master keeps their identity like hidden even from her, you know. But she does fear him, you know. And they're like, an apprentice doesn't know doesn't know their master. That's absurd. They're like, is this a splinter order or is this like something else? And they're like, girl could be a major threat. And they're like, well, there's no discipline. She eluded you though, and killed 2 Jedi Masters. Venestra, you know, puts up pics of Indara, Torben, and Kelnaka. Indara and Torben are red and dead, and May went after these 3. 4. And like, you know, they get corrected because Soul was a part of that there as well. It's like, you all were stationed there when she was a child. How odd. Turns up all these years later, Jedi taught, even in a hologram. And like, this is one of the funny things of Vernestra here is like when she's like laying down her law and being so mad and everything, she's like, Jedi taught, even a hologram could tell me that. And if we bring it to the High Council, they would be obliged to tell the Senate, we can take care of this. Like, we can take care of this. No, nobody else needs to know about it. We must learn who trained her, and we must extract Kelnaka and intercept May. Not peacefully, you know, if it comes to that. We're hoping that's not expecting, and it's like, that's really funny, and then they're just like, meeting adjourned. Okay. Soul does convince Renestra to use Osha as bait to draw out May, and Soul will lead that team. So now we're back at the Kofar Forest. We got Kamir, you know, he's asking the question, like, asks how to kill a Jedi without a weapon. Engage unarmed. Can you use their saber? Is that cheating? Wondering how you do it, you know. And he's like, you failed so much. She's like, I didn't fail, you know. Killed Indara and Torben, you know. I did kill Indara and I did kill Torben. He's like, yes, but it was your way. Kill a Wookiee without a weapon, you know. She's like, I can kill a Wookiee without a weapon, you know. Master, you know, wants you to, you know, your master wants you to. And then May kind of is like finally smelling something weird here. It's like, what kind of deal did you make with him? And Kamir's like, we didn't. I just owe him. You know, he collects people. You ever see his face? And he's like, no, I haven't. And then they're like, all right, there's the perimeter. May gives an uneasy look to Kamir, and she's like, can't believe my sister's Jedi scum. What was she like? And Kamir's like, seemed over her head, seemed fond of Soul. Let's keep going. So we cut back to Coruscant now. Osha is trying to leave, and Soul finds her right at the last second there. And he's telling, Soul is telling Osha about like his team and plan to go find May, and we need you on this mission, and she's like, rejoin the Jedi, and he's like, not officially, but we need your help. And then she's like, oh, you need me to get to her, and Osha's like, I can't. And Soul's like, looked May in her eyes, told her you were alive. Like, I looked her in the eyes. When I told her you were alive, she became a different person. Like, something changed there. And she's like, if you come with, the council will allow us to go. He's like, I don't want her to get hurt. You still, there's still good in her, and that good in her loves you. And like Osha's like, she's a murderer, and so it's like, still your family. And she's like, I'm not wearing a civilian robe, and she's wearing the civilian robe. Kalnaka has not been heard from in over a year. Basil is so he speaks the language of Tynan, so he could be but his name is Basil, so he could be a type of Tynan. The language is definitely called Tynan because that's what it's subtitled on Disney Plus. So I don't know if he's actually a Tynan creature himself, or if that's just the language, or like what planet they really come from. But his name is Basil. He's like this tracking, basically, kind of animal creature, and Yord is fluent in that language because instead of learning like Wookiee or something, he decided to do something a little bit more nuanced. They land on Kofor. Where the Jedi land, though, seems to be a little bit more of like a port kind of area, because there's like there's a camp nearby. There's people like playing like card games or whatever there. And the Jedi, are talking to the yokels, to the locals. Yord wants the taser back from Osha, and like there's a little back and forth going with that. Jackie does find out that Kalnaka went into the forest and hasn't been seen in about a year. They do have a piece of garment of like Kalnaka's that Basil is able to sniff and then start tracking. We get some like really great like backgrounds of forests and stuff in here. It's awesome. Yord is being very cold, and like Osha to Yord is like, if you're mad at me, I'm here, like, join the club. I didn't want to be here anyhow either. And Yord's just like, I'm just concerned for your safety. Yeah, okay, Yord, you've been a real stick in the mud this entire series. You suck. So now they're in this like open path heading towards the forest, and like Osha like very seriously goes to Yord and is like, can I ask you a favor? And Osha's like, Soul thinks May can be saved, and Yord's like, well, Soul is wise. He must believe whatever you have to say can like stop May. And Osha's like, yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. If that doesn't work, I won't be able to stop her. Please, we can't hesitate a second time. And Yord's like Osha's like, you got to be able to take that shot for me. And Yord's like, I've known you since we were younglings. Maybe Soul brought you here to face her, or maybe to face yourself. They head into the forest. So they're inside the forest now. May and Kamir head forward, or head further in. Basil, we get a bunch of like quick like cuts back and forth. Like Basil's still sniffing his way through. Basil smells like a rotten part of the forest, and you see it. There's this like blackness, like in this basically dead portion of this forest. You know, you don't know, you don't want to know. Like Soul's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's in this forest, so I don't want to know what's doing this to this forest. Like, let's just get out of here. And then Osha touches like a cicada like bug that is like part of like the like black part of the trees and stuff there. It moves and then basically attacks. Like it moves up the tree and then it spreads its little wings and then it comes flying back at him. And it comes flying back at him, and Soul whips out his lightsaber, cuts it down, and then they keep moving. Osha like is talking to Jackie, and she's a little disturbed. She was like, I was able to sense that creature. You know, I touched it, I disturbed it, now it's dead. And like Jackie's like, well, it's an honor to witness anything or anyone transform into the Force. You have, and like Jackie's like, you have more experience with death than I do. You know, and Osha's like, I can never accept death as a true Jedi. And Jackie's like, true Jedi, you know. She's like, I couldn't like overcome what I had lost. Like, I was never able to overcome what I had lost. How unfair it felt, like the resentment for my sister, even though I missed her. And like Jackie's like, we're not defined by what we lose, but by what we survive. And like Jackie puts her arm on Osha's shoulder, and it's like, you've survived a lot. It's wild. It's great stuff. I love this so much. It's so good. And then we get a cut back to Kamir and whoops, I need some drink. We get a cut back of Kamir. Kamir's almost there. Or like Kamir and May, they're like, we're almost there. We're about just another 10 minutes south or so. We're just gonna make it, you know, right before sundown and everything, right before night. And May's like, I need to take a minute. I need to rest. And like Kamir's like, what are you talking about? We can't rest. We can't stop now. She's like, I have to fight a Wookiee. I need to rest for, you know, a minute, if that's all right. Because we've been trekking all day, and I need to fight this Wookiee, and I just need a couple minutes to rest. And Kamir's like, it's not, but okay. And May's like, it's not a test. And Kamir's like, what? Not a test. He calls it the final lesson. He says, final lesson is one you teach yourself. Kill a Jedi without a weapon. Attacking a defenseless person goes against... So, like, kill a Jedi without a weapon is what May is saying here. You know, attacking defenseless person goes against everything the Jedi stand for. So, how do you kill someone like that? Unarmed. Not, not able to test it. Like, it's impossible. Kamir is a little frustrated. He's like, it's not impossible. You know that. You want more, you know, if you want this more than anything, like, but it's, and like May, like Kamir and May are going back and forth here of like, it's like, you know, you want this more than anything, but it's impossible. And she's like, if I don't do it, he'll kill me. And she's like, you don't even care. And Kamir's like, I care. Well, you know what? We'll find you water. You're right. You need to rest. You're losing some nerve here. You know, can't have that, can we? Kamir heads off to go grab some water. May gets up, looks around, looks at like the trees, grabs bag from the ground, pulls out some rope. We cut back to Jedi who have lost Basil, and and Yord makes the bad joke of we need a tracker for our tracker. Yord tells Soul that, you know, he lost Basil. We hear a scream from May. It's interesting because we're with the Jedi, so that means that the Jedi are close enough to May now that they can hear her and possibly Kamir like scream in their conversations and all that kind of stuff, or at least they're getting to that point of like where it is. It's heard by a Jedi, it's heard by Kamir. Kamir heads off to May right away. Kamir is caught in a trap. He is hanging upside down from a tree. Classic like Looney Tunes, like put a rope and cover it with some leaves, and then as soon as somebody steps on it, they trigger it, and it hanging upside down, you know, just hanging out like that. So Kamir's caught after, you know, May is saying to Kamir, he's like, after running through the forest, you know, I realized that I don't need to do this. Don't need to kill the Jedi without a weapon. I don't need to keep this deal. And Kamir's like, what? Coming down. And you were wrong. You know, and like May's like, you were wrong. Osha alive changes everything. My loyalty is to Osha, not your master. And like Kamir's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm going to surrender myself to Kelnaka, turn myself into the Jedi. And Kamir's like, no. And May's just like, 10 minutes south, right? You know, and Kamir's like, Jedi, I will put you in prison. And she's like, not after I tell them who I know, which is interesting. I don't know what that means, because as of right now, you only know Kamir, who also knows your master, but like, you're not calling yourself a Sith or a Sith apprentice or anything like that. I mean, we got the introduction of witches last season, so we know that she's got lineage connected to like witches of some kind, whether they end up being the Dathmiri of some kind or just a whole nother different like coven of witch, which is totally cool. Like, show me something different other than Dathmiri. That's also cool. I'm down for it. Whatever. I don't know how much more we'll get of that, but yeah, May is just like, you know, I like, you know, it's 10 minutes south, and after, you know, like, I'll just go. Kamir is like shocked. He's like, he'll kill you. He'll have to find me first, and don't know if he can make it out of here without a guide. And May's like, you know what? I have to admit it. I did need you. And May takes off, leaving Kamir just hanging upside down. So the Jedi are still working their way through the forest, looking for May, who couldn't have gone far. They don't know where Basil is. I don't know, says Soul. Then Soul feels something. Osha asks, what is it? Soul says nothing. Weren't ready on Olega, ready now. You know, like, we weren't ready on Olega, and I feel ready now. Feel different. Sense things again, and, you know, this is all Osha talking about this. Like, you know, like, I wasn't ready on Olega, but I'm ready now. I feel different sense of things again. You know, it gives me courage to, like, face her. Not May. And Soul's like, not May, like, you're past. And Soul's like, both of us will. Once May is into the ship. And Soul is like, you know, both of us will. Once May is into the ship, I'll explain everything. I promise. And then May is just running through the forest, comes up on Kelnaka's place, finds Basil, who calls out. May enters Kelnaka's place. Osha told to stay behind the Jedi. May sees Kelnaka and calls out to Kelnaka. Kelnaka is slashed across the chest and belly by a lightsaber. May now knows her master is here, as the sun has completed, as the sun is set. The Jedi surround Kelnaka's door, call for May to come outside. May slowly sees the descending master behind Osha. And May's master just slowly ascends down, getting right behind Osha and the Jedi. Literally just goes like that, and Osha is tossed away like a rag doll. And then basically does the same like jump up kind of punch down spreading of like the dust and whatnot and the dirt that May did in the street to escape, that May did on Olega. And Soul, and all of this blows back, and as the dirt comes to the screen, we get a cut to black. And that is the end of our episode. And my God, what an episode. Episode 4, Day was awesome. This was really great. I love that we got to see Kofar. I was really upset that we didn't get to see more of Kelnaka, if I'm being honest. But this is episode 4. We're halfway through the season. There's still 4 episodes left, and I still feel like we've got a little bit of a flashback or two to still kind of explain some things here. So I'm really excited about this. This was such a cool episode. The last few minutes of it was awesome. I love the turn of May, because I get that. Like, I really understand the like sisterly bond there. Of like, no, the person who's most important to me secretly is actually my sister. Like, I get that. My sisters are twins, so like the bond between them is like truly unbreakable. So like I get that. I like May's like turn here really quickly of being like, no, I want to be back with my sister. Like, I get that. That I had zero qualms about that. So I really like it. I think this episode really sets it up that Kamir is the stranger / May's master. I don't really know who else it could be, because again, everybody in the cover was supposedly dead, but none of them were burned, so it could be another Coral. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we get that reveal in episode 5 next or whatever. But yeah, with all of this, I am JimmE with the Tracy. I am going to wrap up episode 4 of season 1 of the Acolyte Day. I hope you all stay safe. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.